All right, do daily fantasy sports optimizers work for? I'm going to show you an example both for NFL and NBA here, since we're in the season for those. We could do hockey as well, but I don't want to take too long. So what I'm going to show you first here is the draft dashboard. This is actually more like a research station um, compared to some other websites. So right now it's on the Thursday through Monday slate. We can switch it, of course, to the main if you want to do that. See which players get knocked out of the top here right away. As no Gurley, we can see, and no Mahomes. So we got Barkley, Brown, Adams. What these players provide is a really nice floor for low risk and also a high ceiling combination. So that's what it does here. Is it takes us at the top, as I've already set to watch Barkley. I haven't decided on watching Brown this week because of the price. Um, Devontae Adams, I'm good with here. We can watch him in this particular dashboard here, and then we look on down the line. Um, Fournette, I'm not sure why. I guess because of his upside as well, included on this studs list for today. This is basically what you get, and then you can see an idea of scrolling down how many players are available in this niche of players. So that's that, and there are other ways of organizing it here. You can go to the top players for the week. Let's see what difference there is there towards the top if we notice. So this is showing according to their algorithm, which is based on a number of factors, but I can always tell that it does include the DVP versus position, defensive rank 23rd, that is the Patriots, and the total team defensive rank 22nd, the Patriots as well. So, and it would include some of these things here, such as the fantasy points per game in the case of a running back or receiver, targets, and rushes. Also, snap percentage, very important, of course, as you may know. But so going forth now, you can even go here, interestingly, and get an idea of the top watch players. Let's try that on this particular slate. And these are, like it says here, these are the top watch players from all users today. So the top watch player happens to be, for whatever reason, Philip Rivers. A lot of people planning on playing him. Keenan Allen, stacking them together. Kelsey. This includes all slates, actually, as I can tell and see. So people getting ready for the Thursday night for tonight. And as well as Dalvin Cook, interestingly, seeing what potential he has. Mahomes, Devontae Adams, and so on. So, but now getting to the now that I just gave you a little bit of background as to how you would come up with, some of these players, somewhat of an idea. Well, let's just break it down again real quick. Whether you're whatever site you're on, whatever optimizer you're on, you want to make sure some of the most important stats, which are right here, conveniently, your snap percentage, just to review, your targets per game, your rushes per game. We may want to add these two together for touches. For a quarterback, you could go according to passing attempts. You could do, it'll show you here if you click on the name, the actual snaps played, total count for the season, which will give you a nice idea of how much, kind of like the pace factor, how much they're running at. Of course, the matchup, like I mentioned, versus the defense. And the salary, of course, you have to take into consideration the team. Maybe compare it as well to the DraftKings salary, since I'm on FanDuel right here. FanDuel instead of DraftKings. And did I mention here the fantasy points per game? Also, the last 3 games, last 3 target. And if you want to compare last 5 games, as well as the last 5 games versus the opponent. Also very important. A lot of people don't use that, but it is right here for you. Is an important factor in how much historically the player scores against that particular team. The last 5 games right here for your knowledge. So including all this now, then you're ready. If you at least get those basic things down, and then maybe you could get some other advanced fantasy advice here on this particular site. You just go to your Blazos Picks, the fantasy football counselor, and or the Fantasy Focused podcast and actually add their focused player pool to your watch list as well. So you can include their stuff. You can look them up on YouTube, and you can get their stuff as well in addition to mine, and actually include their players to the player pool, saving you research time. So if you want to do that, great. Or at least compare them to the players that you want to watch. Okay, so then what you do is here, you go to the lineup optimizer, see what kind of optimal lineup it comes up with. And there are options within this as well. Showing you how an optimizer would work. As it doesn't take too long to wait for this particular application of it. It gave us some synergy, locking in Cousins with Thielen, interestingly, on the main slate. So a possibility there, even though, quarterback like Cousins is slumping. So maybe like for more of a tournament or a lower payout hybrid for the total of the contest. Maybe, put Carson in there, Derrick Henry, see what he does. These aren't the safest plays, but you do have a base of safe players, according to the ones I've watched at least. Thielen, Smith-Schuster, Edelman, Jared Cook, pretty good with Oakland. Jeffrey Wilson's San Francisco looking pretty good. Seattle defense, not bad. So you could use this in a cash lineup that would pay out sort of a higher percentage. The only guys that are at risk or question is your quarterback and running backs. So you could run with this. And this is because, I haven't really decided what to do with this yet, obviously, but I could insert this, and use it in a successful lineup. Probably like if it's a larger, over 100 or over players, these three guys right here is recommending to be lower owned players. So we're going to compare the same thing on another optimizer right here, as we do need to sort out some of the players that we want here. This is on the DFS Army, as that they have their research station as well, which has more information and a spreadsheet included and everything, kind of like the research we did on this site. Okay, so here we go. Looking at, in fact, why don't we just organize this according to ownership projection, which is a nice differentiating feature on this particular optimizer. Okay, as we see, 21%, 16 and below, as it should arrange here in order. Let's see. It's probably still working on it here for a moment. Or how about this? Why don't we just simply compare, put a few things in that we want, and then just optimize a lineup here on the DFS Army. So we can go optimal or tournament mode. Let's go optimal. Let's use their projections. So how many points a player will be likely to score. Of course, we could go over or under on that. Those particular, and then we're just going to look at trying to get one lineup for now. We can do multiple lineups. We can do this on both sites. So then we can try to get go over or under on their point projection. Projection right here showing 21 for Barkley, 16. Let's see. Since I want to control this how I want, I'm going to go under a bit on Brown. Okay. And you can even set the exposure level if you want a minimum of a certain percentage of your lineups and mass lineups. You put your percentage here or a max. A lot of times 50% or around that could be recommended for a max, or less even, so you don't max out your players and lose all of your lineups by a few players being chosen in the same team over and over. So let's see here. I'm going to go, I don't trust Roethlisberger. Let's say, I am worried about his injury, him coming out of the game again. So let's go under on this. Let's say 18, a few points under. Instead of his default score, it's 21. And that will update and change here. It's just a matter of a few moments for that to get caught up. And let's see who else we could pick on here. I really like Smith-Schuster. I want to go over on this score here. Go a few up to 18. Or we could simply click on this face thing and go up, bump it up. I believe, well, let's try one here. Steph Diggs, Lamar Jackson. I'm just going to go with somebody that I want to go over on. Let's say I've had some success with Russell Wilson, especially I'm playing San Francisco. The defense is not good. So let's go over, say I like him. So I hit 20 points here, and let's see how much it bumps it up. That'll bump us up another point, it looks like. So there you can see, you want to go a couple points, you do the next option up, going through this, the love or the adore. Okay, so if you like your emojis. All right, so now looking at this, since I made a few optimal changes, I'm going to optimize that, wait for it, see what I get here to compare, and get an idea if my optimizer will work to where I want it to, because I'm taking control over it. It's giving me a Jeff Driscoll lineup right away. I don't like it, unless maybe for tournaments, just because I'm stacking a couple. Well, I don't see anybody stacked here. Minnesota defense with Dalvin Cook, Jalen Samuels at flex. I like the receivers again. Thielen, Smith-Schuster, Cooper. Interestingly, was that the one that was chosen over here? Smith-Schuster, Thielen, and Edelman here instead of Cooper. Okay, Elliott instead of Henry and Carson. So you obviously you can't fit the same thing. Well, you can fit the same lineup in if you have it on the same site, which I have here. I believe it's set on FanDuel. So really, yeah, you're in the same site trying to fit in the same lineup. So there's a lot of things to factor and consider when looking at the research, the value of players, things that come up during the week that'll make you successful in optimizing your lineups. For example, this guy here at 5,500, Jalen Samuels. I don't particularly like him this week, but he may be someone, or could be someone like in the tournament that gets a lot of passes caught if Connor is still out. So you have to look for these things, obviously, during the week. So just for a moment, as far as anything else, well, I'll just show you as well. Oh, for NBA, let's do that. All right, let's see what's on the slate today, man. How many teams and games and all that. See what greatness we can come up with today. There's only 4 games on the slate. At the same time here, you can move over here, go to NBA. See what works. Yeah, so cool. We got this here. Same thing.